people see Strategy holding $2.19 billion in cash, they say, wait, aren't these guys meant to be a Bitcoin company? Why are they holding dollars? Because cash is what stops you getting wiped out when the market throws a tantrum. Bitcoin is the long-term play. Cash is the seatbelt. What does the cash actually do? 3 things. 1, it pays the bills. Strategy has these preferred stocks like STRC paying 10% yield. If Strategy wants banks to buy Stretch, they need to prove that the dividends doesn't disappear the moment Bitcoin goes into a bear market. In Strategy's digital credit vehicle presentation, they already said $1.44 billion covers about 21 months of payouts, so a $2.19 billion reserve covers around 32 months. That's basically 3 years of, yes, we can still pay you even if the market is shit. 2, it stops forced selling. When a company's stock price goes down, that doesn't mean they're dying. They die because they run out of cash and gets forced to sell assets at the worst possible time. Cash makes that way less likely. And 3, it makes banks take them seriously. Banks care about survivability. If Strategy wants banks to protect products on top of Stretch, they need to look like an adult in the room. A big cash reserve is how you do that. Their USD reserve shows Strategy can meet obligations without relying on Bitcoin being at the bull market. A big cash reserve is how you do that. Why Saylor's talking to bankers in New York and UAE? This part is important. Strategy's been meeting bankers in New York and speaking to big money in places like the UAE. That's because banks have a problem. As mentioned in my previous video, they're offering customers 2 to 4% yield. That's really low compared to money supply expanding 7% on average over long periods. STRC gives bankers a cheat code. If Stretch pays 10% plus, a bank can hold it, wrap it, and offer customers something like 8% yield. Then keep the extra 2% for risk and profit. That's the business model. And guess what banks need before they risk their reputation doing that? A dividend they can trust. That's why the cash reserve is growing. Now, I want to touch base on some critics. What about MSCI and all that index drama? MSCI might exclude Strategy from some indexes. They're targeting companies whose balance sheets are 50% dominated by digital assets. Doing this could cause $2.8 billion of potential outflows from them, and if other index providers follow, it could be around $8 billion. If that happens, passive funds may have to sell, and that can push the price down short term. But even if MSCI kicks them out in Q1 of 2026, Strategy still has another money pipe. Banks buying their preferred stocks like STRC. Here's where I think Strategy becomes bulletproof. Strategy basically said, if MSTR drops below 1 MNAV, buybacks starts making sense because buying shares cheap can increase Bitcoin per share. They'll do this by issuing credit to repurchase MSTR. What do you mean by credit? Getting into debt again like their convertible notes? No. Saylor made it clear they're moving away from debt-based instruments and moving into digital credit. Because preferred stocks aren't debt, Strategy can offer banks and sovereign wealth funds a yield instrument they can work with. Their problem is simple. Safe yield that pays high is scarce. Stretch pays around 10%, so a bank can package that into a customer product around 8%, keep the spread, and stay competitive. If that scales, capital will keep flowing into strategy, which they can use to buy more Bitcoin, build cash reserves, and if MSCI or anyone pushes the common stock too cheap, strategy will be able to buy back their own stock to increase Bitcoin per share. The business keeps getting funded regardless. STRC targets a much bigger capital pool than MSCI-driven outflows. Strategy's preferred stocks are targeting a $300 trillion bond and money market. What's MSCI and other indexes' capital outflow? Just over $8 billion. That's way smaller than the scale of the bond and money market. And that's the loop. Loops like that make companies very hard to kill. Some critic would try and quote Saylor for saying, "People who holds cash, we call them poor." When Saylor says people who hold cash are poor, they're talking about idle, long-term savings sitting in cash while inflation eats it alive. That is not what Strategy's cash reserve is. It's working capital. Big difference. Strategy holds Bitcoin as a store of value. Cash exists to support the structure around it. The cash reserve pays preferred dividends during downturns, prevents forced Bitcoin selling, observes volatility and timing risk, and builds trust with banks and institutions. That's risk management. What do the poor do with cash reserves? They hold it for years and let inflation make them poorer over time. Digital credit is the next evolution for Strategy. They're stacking cash because they're plugging into the banking system. So even if MSCI excludes Strategy from their indexes, that doesn't kill them because there's another cash inflow that's keeping the business operational. Major banks like the ones in New York City and sovereign wealth funds from the UAE are all buying their preferred stocks. Cash keeps dividend reliable. Reliable dividends make banks comfortable. Banks buying STRC brings in capital, and that capital builds both USD reserves and Bitcoin reserves. The cash reserves can even support buybacks if MSTR gets too cheap, thanks to MSCI. And that capital of which Strategy is targeting is far bigger than the small $2.8 billion outflows from MSCI, and $8.8 billion from other indexes if they follow MSCI. Because Strategy, with their digital credits, are targeting the $300 trillion bond and money industry. Bitcoin fuels the long-term engine, while cash smoothens the Bitcoin volatility. It makes capital usable for banks. It ensures the engine keeps running in the short term. If you made it to the end of this video, type Bitcoin in the comments to show you're awake. If you learned something of value, I'd appreciate you leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.